So this is a good chance to get together and share best practices and knowledge and things. Today's sponsor is Suitcase Interactive. So I'll get Ryan to come up here and talk a little bit. From, here, I'll get Mike to speak here. Okay, cool.
Thank you. First of all, thanks for having me. Sadly and embarrassingly, this is my first time. So, yes, and I will be coming. Boo is in order. Actually, it's now not Suitcase Interactive, it's actually just Suitcase. As of 26 days ago, we became one of Canada's largest independent agencies and merged with the agency called Watermark, who's a long-standing traditional agency. And people in this room might say, why the hell would you do that? And that's a coffee conversation, but I truly believe that for social and mobile, which is our agency's core competency, needs to be mixed with traditional mix to be successful. I was talking to somebody here about the Old Spice campaign that everyone holds up as the social media holy grail from a few years ago. And, I agree with that, but it was part of a large campaign and weaved in as a large campaign that with social media at the core. So just quickly, at the core, Suitcase is a social mobile agency designed for the needs of big brands. We're working with clients, national clients like Marks, Sport Check, Atmosphere, EA Sports, Puma, and most recently Michaels, as they move into Canada more. Marketers, I believe, have long enjoyed control of their brands, as you all know, and in the digital universe, but social has shifted to consumers. It's one of the most complicated channels for brands to manage, and so we, because it does touch everything from communications to marketing, PR, customer service, analytics, the entire crisis management, whatever in business, it touches that. So we believe at Suitcase that social deserves a seat at the marketing table and should be one of the leaders. And so, first of all, and I guess lastly, I would say is thanks for having us. We believe in this. We believe in the community. It's amazing to see this, and we look forward to being supported in the future. Thanks.
Awesome. So a big round of applause. It's great we have sponsors like Venue 1308 and Suitcase this month to provide the great venue and the great food. Without them, we can't do these things for free. So another big round of applause for our sponsors. Oh, your logo's not showing up there. Sorry, it was on there. Lindsay, are you going to speak? Or did you want to say something? Sorry, as you have a You did have a logo on there, honestly. I think a logo on there for some reason it didn't show up. They're Venue 1008 YYC on Twitter, so please tweet about how beautiful this venue is.
And the food.
And the food, too. The food is great, yes.
Well, thanks for, I'm going to actually, can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I'm not going to use this.
All right.
First of all, thanks for coming out today. Venue 1008 is a social enterprise. Okay, it combines a couple of different companies. One is Venue 1008 and the catering that you're enjoying today, and the rooms. We have actually 2 rooms. The second part of the social enterprise is a company called Desktop Catering, which is just catering to your desktop. That's all it is. So if you want to order sandwiches or reception style catering, then we can do that, and that's what we do. The interesting thing about this venue is just by being here and participating, 100% of the profits that are raised here goes to charity. So not half of it, not 20%, 100%. We support an organization called Service Anomaly Society. And what that does is helps women that are on the streets at risk or being sexually exploited get off the streets, get into training and get into programming and just begin really successful lives. A lot of times they get their children back. It's just a win-win situation, and having this social enterprise supporting that organization. So what we did is it's just a kind of a feel-good story, but back in December we remodeled. This looked like a bad bingo hall. Has anyone been in here before? Before the renovations? What did it look like?
Bingo.
I always say that's what it looked like, and everybody says, well, was it a bingo hall before? No, it wasn't, but that's what it looked like. What we did is we completely changed what it looked like. The ceiling's different. We brought in art. Everything's for sale. Pictures and musical instruments, the skateboards, everything's for sale. And that all supports the social enterprise. So right now, I think we've sold since March probably about 20 paintings, which is pretty good considering we're not really an art gallery. So it's been very, very successful. We've gone from maybe doing 60 events in a year to I think this year for the calendar year we'll have done 400. So it's just really a good feel-good story. And the cool thing is we did it on a $40,000 budget to do these renovations.
Wow.
So it was pulling every favor that we possibly could, because if you've ever done renovations, that doesn't even buy you carpet. Anyways, I really appreciate you folks coming in and enjoying the space today, and I think this is a great breakfast meeting. We do a lot of these things and for the city and that kind of things, but you guys really fit the venue, so I'm really happy to have you here. There's some cards at the front. If you do want to use our services or care to book our venue, we'd love to talk to you, and we'll make it all work for you. So thanks very much again.
Thank you.
Maybe I won't use the microphone either. Is that okay? Can you hear me all? Yes? Okay. And I want to thank Tim from Matrix Video Communications. Hanger Cat is the filming guy, and he'll put it on Ustream. He'll tweet it out. So if you follow Hanger Cat, or I'll tweet it out too after you do it, but you can watch it again if you like, or send a link to your friends. Mike Spears from Genome, Alberta. He's the guy that looks very professor-like with the glasses and the iPad. Jay from MarketWire Systems, he'll be speaking in a second, but they support our press releases and send them out every month. The Q Design started in Calgary, started the social media breakfast in Calgary and Edmonton. So let's shout out for our sponsors again. And our past sponsors, Eric from Paws Dog Daycare, at Paws Dog Daycare, is that right? Yeah. Loose Moose Theater was our venue last month, which is a great venue for in a theater style. It was a great venue. Real Estate Council of Alberta, Real Estate Association of Alberta, Calgary Vipers. We had an outdoor venue there, maybe not great for a winter event, but it was an experience. Mackenzie Town, I don't know, is Dan here today? No. We had a venue in Mackenzie Town. Urban Lighthouse sponsored Melrose, sponsored many of our social media breakfasts. Mount Royal University, Social Media Shift, Service Credit Union. Catherine, is Catherine here? Calgary Speed Dating, Calgary Networks, and Calgary Singles on Twitter. And Jamin was original venue sponsor for a long time. So I think I want to pass it over to Jay for a second. We got some new Sysmos stats here.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for the time. I'll be quick. I know there's a lot of sponsors talking today, but that's who support the organization, so we're happy to do that. But so MarketWire began, I think it was on number 3, and we've been issuing news releases, so social media press releases, and a little later on we acquired Sysmos, which is social media monitoring and analytics and engagement platform. So we thought, well, how can we use this to help out and to within the organization as well. So we thought we'd just throw up some stats of how the social media breakfast is doing on Twitter and run a little contest for you guys at the end.
Oh, that went too far, sorry.
Sneak peek.
There we go.
All right, so yeah, quickly, just the top Twitter sources.
Oh, you can't see any of the data on there.
That's the thing with these
Is there
screens.
Can I change that contrast on this?
All right, either way, we had 10 top Twitter sources on here from the last breakfast till now. And maybe we'll try and figure this out, but we'll tweet out all the other ones and kind of show you who that is. But let's see, I can see it on this one actually. So Donna Taggart was at 40.74%, eating up all the discussion. And the next is Yogi Crystal at 11.11%, and Advice or SMByyc, of course, is in there. Mitch Popelchak, Mingu, Aaron Crunch, Eastside Media,
Mitch is on there too.
Meg Golly, and Chris Garrett.
So Donna, I
If
guess
you
that,
wanna- if you want to be on this, start tweeting.
yes. So Donna is 40% of like SMByyc traffic.
So we need some more tweeters. Here's a hashtag. Back up. There we go. So just a little Twitter word cloud about what's being said. I think you see a lot of our sponsors on there, which is really great for the sponsors who've been in last one to 1008 YYC. So a lot of people are supporting the sponsors, which is really great to see. And what's not showing up here is the females. So there's 55% of females and 45% of males that are tweeting.
So, and these are tweets over a 1 month period, I guess, right, Jay?
Yeah, so from the last one, right up until a couple of days ago, so the 26th. Oh, I can't see the social footprint either. So this is a member profile. So since Donna's been setting it up, and she thought I was joking about this, but you're really up there. So it's just showing her profile, the authority of her followers. So she has a pretty good follower base at a 5.6 out of 10. Some of the whatever followers are talking about, so they're all, a lot of Calgary marketing business world. And her social footprint just kind of shows where other areas where she's also engaged on social media. So she has quite a footprint on social media. One of the other things I noticed from here is that she has followers. One of her top 3 followers are Starbucks, TweetDeck, and Maria Schreiber. That's pretty. I don't have followers like that. What's that?
They follow me?
They follow you.
No way.
Yeah. So, how are we doing against editing? It's pretty even. I think, again, YYC is about, what was it, 55%?
Or I think
It must be higher.
52.2% using the hashtag. So again,
it's a little higher, yeah.
Of course.
when you're talking about it, use the hashtag. And then we have a little contest. So if you want to tweet SMByyc Sysmos, say something about the stats or the event today, and we'll pick someone to win an in-depth social media report on your company or your brand.
If you can't see those are Clouts, CLOUTS, that's Jay, and John A. Robertson with John with an H. Those are both Markiplier people.
Yeah, local.
I just wanted to ask, what was the graph on Donna's page about? Just one slide back.
Oh, sure. Whoops. Sorry, man.
Want to know more about Donna?
All right, so you're talking about this one, or?
Yeah.
So this is the authority of her followers.
So what
So,
would be along the bottom axis? Like what did each of the bars represent?
their authority 1 to 10, or 0 to 10. So down here would be not very engaged on Twitter. And here is number 10, so that'd be Maria Shriver.
Okay.
And so she has quite a bit of 10s and 9s, and 8s and 7s. So this would be the higher end, the 7 to 10.
So that's the number of people with that authority. And
Now-
Donna's authority is 7 on there.
Yeah, really good. So the authority is based on, their social footprint, how often they tweet, how often they're retweeted, and how many followers they have. Perfect. I'll hand it over to you. Thank you very much.
And again, Markiplier is a sponsor of the and our committee here. Everyone knows Donna McTaggart now, if you didn't know before. But Donna's involved with pretty much every group in Calgary. I think you've probably seen her at every meetup and every venue in the city here. She volunteers for a lot of stuff, so a big round of applause for Donna. Seriously, thank you very much. Chet, I don't know, is Chet here today? Chet didn't make it today?
No.
Okay. Mike Spear is in the back, and next to Mike Spear is Roger Conrad. Roger was on the committee, but he shows up for one event that he did where he left the committee. That's not good, Roger.
I like to go out with style.
And I'm behind the SMByyc tag there if you tweet online. For anybody that's registering online for the events, the fastest and best way to get notice of the events is follow me on Twitter, and I'll tweet out there first. So a lot of people can't get in and they're wondering why they can't get in, they didn't get notice of things. Follow the SMByyc, you get advance notice, so that's the way to get in. They usually sell out quickly. They didn't sell it this time, but usually it sells out very fast. That's right. Future locations. We need more locations. If anybody knows a good venue, we're searching for venues around the city. We like to change it around. We've been all over the city, so if you have any venue ideas, especially if you have a connection in the venue, please let Donna know so we can kind of move it around and give other people a chance to come out to these events. And sponsors. We need sponsors. It costs about $350. Here it's much more because obviously they provide better food than we usually have. But generally, we sponsors pay $350, and it's a big, big help. Again, Suitcase sponsored this month. I think Eric sponsored last month. It was right. So without the sponsors, you don't get free food and coffee. So please support our sponsors and be a sponsor. And again, the Twitter. SMByyc, please follow that and follow the Twitter list. I try to put everybody on the list. I'll go through, and so if you want to connect with everybody else that comes to the events, the list is a good way to do that. We also have Edmonton SMB, which is the last Friday of the month. This month we changed Calgary, so they're both on the same day, but usually it's at CBC Edmonton, and our sponsors there are Starbucks and Prairie Mill Bread Company. They have great cinnamon buns there. And Fuselogix TV is starting to do some live streaming there. Next month, we'll have it on November 18th. We don't have a venue or a speaker set up, right, Donna? We're not announcing yet. It's a top secret. But mark your calendars. It's November 18th. And again, hopefully follow the SMByyc Twitter account, and you will get advance notice on that. And Christi, it's up to you now. Welcome, Christi. Christi Millar.
And take it.
Actually, these are probably the best. None of these arrows work.
The arrows don't work.
So you have to, maybe I'll put it right here. If you just click right here, it should work.
And then how do I go back?
If you want to go back, you have to slide it back like this.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me okay if I just talk like this, or should I use the mic?
I can hear you.
You good? I can hear you. Okay, cool. So hi everybody, and thanks to the SMByyc committee for having me speak today, and thanks to all of you that are coming out. I'm excited to be here. I used to come to social media breakfast all the time. I used to work with Weber Shandwick and do digital media strategy for them, and then I joined CYBF about 1.5 years ago, and when I joined CYBF, I inherited a Friday morning conference call with my boss every Friday, and so I haven't been able to come, so I'm excited to be here, and I'm glad to be out of a meeting with my boss today. So. Although now he's going to see that on video, so that's, that's great.
We'll cut that out.
That'd be great. So social media innovation and inspiring the next generation of entrepreneurs. I was looking at the topic when I started to kind of work on this today, and I thought, like, what the hell was I thinking when I gave this topic to check, because it's a pretty lofty topic to kind of take on in 30 minutes, and of course CYBF is only doing is doing a part of it. There's a lot of other organizations that work with entrepreneurs and inspire entrepreneurship. You know, we have the people from some of the people from Startup Calgary here today, Tori and Christian, who are also behind like YYC Accelerator. I don't know if you guys know about that, but there's an incubator space just down the road for new startups. So there's lots of people that are really working on inspiring the next generation of entrepreneurs. I think one of the reasons that I picked such a big topic was actually, I don't know if you guys know, but the Social Media Breakfast Committee actually wanted Brett Wilson to speak today, and he wasn't available, and so I'm speaking
We got
instead.
someone better.
Yeah, but it's actually the third time that I've been asked to speak at an event instead of Brett Wilson, and so it's the second time that I've said yes. One time I absolutely turned it down. So I think when I was thinking about today, I was like, okay, I have to have a really good idea about things. So then I got thinking about it, and I was like, well, you know, I just have to really talk about what I know and what I'm passionate about, and what that is really working with entrepreneurs. If any of you read my, my bio, I've been working with entrepreneurs for about 8 years now. I used to manage the Center for Entrepreneurship on Prince Edward Island, where I'm from. I also used to work with Alberta Women Entrepreneurs here in Alberta, and then I took over leadership of CYBF about 1.5 years ago. How many people here have heard of CYBF before? Oh, that's not very good. And I know that. I know that. I've actually been involved with CYBF for 8 years. So I used to be a community partner. I've been a mentor with them before, and I've been on loan review committees. And what we do is we actually do financing and mentoring for people between the ages of 18 and 34 that want to start their own business. So we do that through pre-launch coaching. We have an entrepreneur in residence on staff that works with our entrepreneurs, teaching them how to write a business plan and that sort of thing. We do financing of up to $15,000. For some people, that's not a lot of money. They need a lot more. But our financing is unsecured, so they can use that to leverage it for additional dollars from the bank. We also do mentoring, which is a big part of our program, I think, because we pair each of our mentors, or each of our entrepreneurs, with a mentor for 2 years, and that mentor volunteers 4 to 5 hours a month with the entrepreneur to help them in that critical time when they're getting started up. And then we also do events and, you know, try to be an advocate for our entrepreneurs and that sort of thing. And so on that note, I have 3 entrepreneurs in the room today. I have Gina Rotstein over here. She has Dexterity Consulting, which is a philanthropic brokerage, and then she also has Place to Give. I have Courtney, who's one of my new entrepreneurs over here. She has a company called Revolution Dance Studio. She is in Minnepore, and she's actually doing a dance-a-thon on November 19th to raise money for the food bank. So definitely talk to her. And then I can't see where Marnie is, but Marnie's in the room as well, and Marnie's a naturopathic doctor. So I have 3 entrepreneurs in the room, and that's definitely one thing I try to use our social media account for, through Twitter, which we've had all along, and through Facebook, is to really be an advocate for our entrepreneurs and make sure that people know that our entrepreneurs exist. We can use it also, I mean, to promote our services, but I think that the best value that CYBF can bring is to even be an advocate for our entrepreneurs. So that's a little bit about us. We also have Crystal, who's big on the SMByyc hashtag. Crystal's in the room today, and so she also works for CYBF. So if you guys have any questions afterwards, you can talk to her as well. So inspiring the next generation of entrepreneurs and why we should even care. And we should care because entrepreneurs are actually the backbone of kind of every community across the country. And if you think about it, you know, they're the farmers, they're the independent contractors, they're the family-run businesses like, you know, the Running Room, which is Albertan. There are manufacturers like Colin Davison, another CYBF entrepreneur who has a manufacturing company, employs, you know, 10, 20, 50 people. How many people here own their own business? Oh, that's good. So, you know, there's a lot of interesting stats. The Alberta government put out a profile last week about small business in Alberta, and actually 96% of businesses in Alberta are small businesses. So a small business is somebody that has 50 or less employees. And 1/3 of all private sector workers are actually employed by small businesses. So small businesses are employing 1/3 of private sector workers, and they're contributing nearly 30% of Alberta's GDP. So really, in actuality, and that 30% is higher than what the national average is, really, they're really the, you know, the grease that kind of keeps the gears of the economy going. And so if it wasn't for entrepreneurs, if it wasn't for, you know, the high-tech entrepreneurs and the people that are, you know, in those, filling those kind of niche sectors, or even like the large businesses in Alberta. We have a lot of big, you know, oil and gas companies and that sort of thing, but it's the small businesses that are really, you know, sustaining those companies' day-to-day operations. And so entrepreneurship is important. How I got hooked on entrepreneurship was actually a job that I had, my first job at a university, and one of the things that I did was a program for kids between the ages of 8 and 13 that taught them about running their own business. So they came and they learned about how to write a business plan, and then they had a meeting with the banker, and if they were a sole proprietor, they got $75 to start their business, and if they were a partnership, they got $150 to start their business. And you know, not very much, but these kids did really cool things, right? You know, they were like making jewelry, or they were growing vegetables, or they were doing whatever they were doing, and it was like really empowering to see that they were creating an opportunity for themselves, and they were creating an opportunity for others. You know, they were employing their little brothers and sisters to work for their businesses and that sort of thing. And I think that it's really important that starting at a very young age that we're really working to inspire people to want to be entrepreneurs. Like if you talk to kids, you say, hey, like what do you want to be when you grow up? Not very often do you hear kids say, I want to be an entrepreneur. I do think of my niece sometimes though, because definitely around this time of year, she's like super organized, and so when Halloween comes, she like organizes all her candy that she gets, and she always tells me she wants to open a candy store. But you know, typically you don't hear kids saying that they want to grow up and be entrepreneurs. And so I've done some work with little kids, and I think that there's stuff that even parents can be doing to, you know, inspire entrepreneurship, but I'm not a parent, so I'm not going to tell people how to parent their children. And instead I'm going to talk about a place where I kind of have more exposure and more influence, and that's kind of in the post-secondary area of things. So the next question that I have for people is, how many of you have been in school and have taken like an entrepreneurship class? And when you took the entrepreneurship class, was it kind of like this, where you're like sitting there, maybe you weren't exactly asleep like that guy, but you're sitting there and you're taking notes and you're, you know, listening to a teacher go on and on and on? How many people were like that? Oh, just one? Like my class, when I was in university and I took an entrepreneurship class, the whole semester was how to write a business plan. And what I did was I opened a franchise, because what you could do is you could actually write to the franchise and say, oh, hey, I want to open a franchise in Charlottetown PEI, and they send you a business plan. And then you just have to like find and replace and put Charlottetown in instead of whatever. And you know, that's how I did my class. Did that teach me anything? Absolutely not, except hey, I guess how to cut corners. So I'm hoping that some of you, other people more like this, where it's a little more interactive, a little more experiential, there's brainstorm happening and that sort of thing. Do people have more classes like that? See, that makes me happy, and that's kind of what I want to talk about today. Is my goal is to kind of get that more, you know, more classrooms are actually like the latter. Because I don't think that you can teach somebody entrepreneurship by telling them, by having them sitting in a class and by having them, you know, take notes and that sort of thing. I think it's really important that they're, you know, being taught how to identify an opportunity. And when they walk into a room, they're looking around, identifying opportunities, and hopefully coming up with their next kind of $1 million idea. And so that's where experiential learning comes in. And that's where You Innovate Canada comes in today. So when Chet couldn't get Brett Wilson to speak, she thought that she would stay on the entrepreneurship theme, and she was really familiar with what CYBF was doing with our You Innovate Canada tournament. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that in a little bit. And so experiential learning, You Innovate Canada, and it's really all about that the spark of a business idea can come from looking at an everyday object in a different way. Now, the You Innovate tournament has actually been quite a ride for me. It was inspired by a project that I saw Mount Royal University students doing. Is Tony Guffey here today? No. I thought she was going to come. So Tony is a teacher within the faculty at Mount Royal University, and you know, they've got a really awesome program in entrepreneurship at Mount Royal University with tons of really great faculty. So anyways, I went to this event at Mount Royal University called the Mount Royal Innovation Tournament, where kids had to take an everyday object and create value out of it. And so I spent some time with them. I left there feeling really inspired, and I was like, this is really cool. So I kept spending more and more time with the faculty at Mount Royal University. And at the same time, I was also traveling around the province, talking with other post-secondary students, talking with faculty at other universities across the province, and some of them were teaching the other class where the students are like kind of laying their head on the desk and they're, you know, not that engaged and not doing a lot. And I'd tell them about what Mount Royal was doing, and they'd be like, geez, I really wish that we could be doing something like Mount Royal had, but they didn't have that curriculum. And so, you know, I was kind of thinking about that, and then I was thinking, okay, so I've got, you know, Alex Bruton is actually one of the faculty members at Mount Royal University, really awesome guy, teaches really cool things within his course, was actually named on the top 40 under 40 list last night, which was fantastic. So I've got Alex and what MRU is doing on one hand, and then I've got the faculty and the other schools kind of saying, gee, we wish that there was something that we could do. And so then I decided that I wanted to kind of combine two things, or three things, that I love. And so one of those things was actually Stanford University. I don't know how much do you guys watch much what Stanford University does? Like, they have really good programs and really cool things that are coming out of their design school and their technology ventures program. And seriously, like, just Google Stanford and Google Tina Seelig, who's like one of my idols. And so they're doing really cool things. And so what Mount Royal University has been doing was inspired by what Stanford was doing. And so I was pumped to kind of work on that. The other thing that kind of inspired You Innovate was just the fact that I was hoping to inspire entrepreneurship. And the big thing about You Innovate was that when I was starting it, I wanted it to be a post-secondary competition, and I wanted it to be across faculties. So a lot of times too, when people are taking entrepreneurship, they're typically business students, right? But not all business students are technically entrepreneurs. There's entrepreneurs that are, you know, in trades. There's entrepreneurs that are taking event design. There's entrepreneurs that are in like communications. There's, you know, entrepreneurs across all faculties. So that was one thing as well that I was looking at with You Innovate. And then the other thing was really about creating capacity. So creating capacity within the faculty across the province so that they would have curriculum that they could integrate into their programs so that they could be inspiring more entrepreneurs. Because back to entrepreneurs, backbone of every community. Now, when I was thinking about the timing of the event, I decided that I wanted to do it during Global Entrepreneurship Week. Has anybody heard about Global Entrepreneurship Week? A few. So Global Entrepreneurship Week's been around since about 2008. And what Global Entrepreneurship Week is it's all about celebrating entrepreneurs and giving youth an opportunity to interact with entrepreneurs and just get people really excited about entrepreneurship. And so it seemed like a perfect fit that we would do this event during Global Entrepreneurship Week. So just a few stats here, like, it started in 2008. This year, November 14th to 21st, it's actually over 121 countries around the world at the same time we're celebrating entrepreneurs. So just like in Small Business Week, which happened last week, which is kind of a Canadian initiative, Global Entrepreneurship Week is kind of being celebrated all around the world. Now, old versus new, and this is where social media kind of comes in. So in 2009, CYBF is actually the Canadian host of Global Entrepreneurship Week. And in 2009, we were the country of the year. So we had the best run campaign out of all the countries that were, running campaigns during Global Entrepreneurship Week. And then in 2010, so last year, runner-up, and then now we're into the new year. And so when we used to do campaigns before, they were very traditional. We were going out to our partners and we were asking them, like, can you put on an event? And then the people would do an event and we would count the event and we would count the people that attended the event, and that was, the kind of extent of their reach. So when I was thinking about what I wanted to do in Alberta this year, I was like, there's got to be a way that we can also use kind of social media. So then we take the Innovation Tournament and we take social media and try to find a way to kind of create excitement about entrepreneurship. How many of you have heard of the Innovate Tournament? A few again. A few people that read about it on the event description. So I'm going to play a video next. Do you think this sounds okay? Uh-oh. Should we just going to play? It's on the next slide. Every time. Okay.
sorry.
That's all right. Just exit.
Is this the?
That's the next slide.
Sure, one more time.
No worries.
I'm sure it was a very good video.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, it was great. So essentially, I was going to tell you what the Innovate Tournament is about, but I will tell you instead. So what we did was on September 26th, we revealed a mystery object. So it was a common everyday object. And the object that we picked was a coffee cup. So if you think back to the kind of statement that I said about, you know, getting people to think creatively, getting them to identify opportunity, and that the spark of a business idea can really come from looking at an everyday object in a different way. So we revealed the coffee cup, and we asked people to submit videos where they explained to us how they were going to create value and a new value out of a coffee cup. And so the thing about the challenge that I really liked, and that challenge of asking people to create value, is we didn't tell people what value was. So for everybody that's kind of participating in it, value means something different. And so for some people, you know, it's economic value, or it's social value, or it's artistic value, environmental value, or it could be something completely different. So to give you an example of, you know, in the past, like one of the things that they did at Mount Royal University was a bar of soap, and people had to take the bar of soap and like turn it into, you know, something. So like one group of people, they actually like took the bar of soap and they cut it up into little chunks, and then they melted it and they turned it into these like soap cupcakes, and then they painted them all pretty, and then they sold them at the farmer's market, and they were able to raise money, you know, for a charity. So there was the profit that they made, there was a social value that they had, you know, from, you know, being able to give back to the charity and all that sort of thing. But it's really, really neat when you see how other people like really determine what value is. And the fact of the matter is that there's really no wrong answer. As long as the people can come to us, they can make a video, they show us how they've created value, they've measured it, then there's really no wrong answer. So when we were looking at the judging criteria, you know, there's things that we're looking at, just like I said right now, we're defining value, creating value, how do people measure value, and did the team do a good job of promoting the value? So you'll actually see, like, of the submissions that we received, so we're at the point right now where we're shortlisting. Some of them had blogs that they wrote that they, you know, kind of chronicled the whole journey that they went through with this coffee cup, and other people were using social media to promote their products that they were selling and that sort of thing, and it was really quite neat. So as far as how we used social media, and of course, you know, any kind of like PR communications or outreach that you're doing, it's always a combination of the online and the offline, so that it's an integrated approach. Some of the things that we did was we did faculty outreach. Now I should say that what happened was all along UInnovate was going to be this Alberta initiative for post-secondary, and then all of a sudden our national office got really excited about it, so it actually turned into a national initiative. And so there's actually two categories of post-secondary and the general public, and so now this is the first year of this UInnovate tournament, which will go on for years to come, hopefully. So pre-reveal, so pre-September 26th, we did faculty outreach to make sure that they all had their kind of curriculum and that they had ways that they could promote the program, ask them to utilize their social media, ask them to post on their, you know, pages about what we were doing. And we also did some key media outreach. So we were actually really lucky. We got 6 segments on breakfast television prior to the reveal. So that was really great. And what we did was we did a mini innovation tournament so that people could see what the innovation tournament was about. Like, I really wish you could have saw the video because it might have explained it a little bit better. You're kind of all sitting there. I'm still not sure what she's talking about. But the 6 segments on BT were really good. And we were lucky. You know, I don't know how often some of you are, you know, pitching media and trying to get on stories, but, you know, that was 2 years of my life before I started at CYBF. And so the big thing about especially getting on places like BT is that you're coming to them with an idea that's got a lot of action going on and that you've got good visuals and that sort of thing. So we're really lucky when we came up with this opportunity to do an innovation tournament that there was lots of action that they would be able to pick up and to show on screen. And so then I have the stats there that even with the reach for breakfast television at 65,000, so 65,000 times 6 is, we were really lucky there as far as reach. As far as, Twitter, we were tweeting about it. We had a hashtag YouInnovate. We used hashtag GEW Canada a little bit as well. We used Facebook. I only got to use Facebook a little bit in Alberta. That's another thing about CYBF. I came to CYBF and I had a lot of, I had experience in digital media strategy, and then I came into the role in Alberta, but I'm not the communications person anymore, so I kind of had to take a back seat, and so I've been really all along wanting to get on Facebook and really utilize it, and so I just barely got a Facebook page about a month ago. They finally let me have a Facebook page, which I'm super pumped about. And so we got to use Facebook a little bit, and then we also reached out to other organizations that we knew that had Facebook, and then the teaser video on YouTube as well. So then Reveal and Beyond, so then again we also did traditional media outreach. One thing that I did in Alberta that was a little different than what the other provinces were doing is, again, when you're pitching media, I very simply just took the press release that is coming out of Toronto, and even at the first of a press release where it might say Toronto, Canada, changing that to Alberta, Canada, changing it to Red Deer, Canada, so when it was going to a Red Deer media outlet, it said it was coming from Red Deer, and just like simple things like that to really personalize the press release for pickup. So that was something else that we did. So we did get some traditional media pickup, as well as already have lots of media lined up for the post kind of announcement of who wins. We're also really lucky because we got on Global News Calgary as well. And so Global News Calgary, we were on the morning news, and we were also on the evening news. So the morning news has a reach of about 160,000. The evening news has a reach of about 390,000. So about 550,000 was kind of the number of households that we were able to reach. And the cool thing about that is that Amber Schinkel did that story, and Amber Schinkel contacted me because she saw me tweeting about it online. So really lucky to get that as well. We also did some blogger outreach, which resulted in about 9 blogs. So not a lot, but this is all a learning experience, and I'm really actually proud of our organization that that they took this on a national level, and there's going to be so much learning coming out of this that'll make the campaign so much better for the next year. And then we just kind of kept going with our social media efforts. So at the end of the day, across Canada, we received 114 videos, and 40 of them were from Alberta. So I was really pumped about that. All along, all I wanted to do was kick Toronto's ass as far as submissions. So, I was really happy about that. We had a few hiccups along the way, because the thing that happens when a campaign is, first it's going to be provincial and then it goes national, is that there was actually quite a few setbacks for us that kind of set back our timeline. So I'm really pleased with the number of submissions that we actually had. This past week was voting week, so we actually just closed off voting. There's 45,782 votes across Canada, and 24,388 of those votes were for Alberta video, so that was really awesome. One girl had 11,000 and some votes, just crazy. So, when we think about success of this campaign, and we think about inspiring the next generation of entrepreneurs, I'm not just looking at success as how many videos we got. These votes are actually really important to us, because those are, another 45,782 people that somehow engage with our brand and somehow engage with YouInnovate Canada. So that's just a little fancy word cloud. We like those. This is from Systemos as well. It was hard because, again, I'm not the marketing person in our organization, so all of a sudden when I was doing this presentation, I'm like, oh my God, I don't have any stats. And Kevin told me I needed to have stats today, so I actually called my people at Weber Shandwick that I used to work with, and I was like, please, 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 can you do a little something in Systemos for me? So they got some information for me. Twitter reach, 127,733 impressions. So total tweets, 234. Not a lot, but first year, we're growing and we're going to learn, so I'm pleased with that. Another thing from Systemos, as far as demographics, you can't quite see, but 64% of the tweets were from women. I have that probably has something to do with the fact that a lot of people at CYBF are women, but You know, and then the other nice thing to see was actually 36% of the tweets came out of Alberta. So 40% came out of Ontario, which of course is our national office, and then the other 36% came out of here. We actually saw a little bit of a spike in like the use of the UInnovate hashtag, especially even in this last week, because lots of people were tweeting and saying, please vote for my video and that sort of thing. So that was really neat. And again, more small wins, because we're a nonprofit and we're just starting out with this sort of stuff, but most watched CYBF video ever in the history of CYBF, so I was really pumped about that. 3,000 views, the next closest one was 1,500, I think. The UInnovate landing page, since we launched UInnovate, is now the second most visited page on the CYBF website. And then in the past month, visits to all the pages related to UInnovate Canada actually accounted for 21% of our overall traffic. So definitely the fact that we are, we are garnering more traffic to our site because of this, and hopefully, getting more people knowing about our brand. Finally, the next thing that's happening is actually we are having an event on Friday, November 18th at 10 a.m. at the Epcor Center, and that's where we're actually going to announce the winner. So we'll announce the winner in the post-secondary, and we'll announce the winner in the general public. Each winner gets a $1,500 cash prize, which was donated by studentawards.com. So that's pretty awesome. So we're excited about that. And I actually just had a call yesterday. Have any of you guys heard of Ben Barry? Anybody in the room? Okay, well, good. Ben Barry actually founded an agency called the Ben Barry Creative Agency, and he founded it when he was a teenager in his basement, so a really great example of a young entrepreneur. And he started this modeling agency because he had this friend that he thought was beautiful that was going and trying to find modeling gigs, and they were sending her away saying, no, you're not a model, you're not the right size. And so he started this agency for non-typical models, and he's been really successful at that. And so actually Ben is going to come out to Calgary and host the event and do a bit of a keynote, and then the nice thing is afterwards we're going to have a lunch with the winners so that they can kind of hang out with Ben and ask him what it was like to start a business and that sort of thing. And that's kind of the summary of UInnovate. It's been really great so far. I think that our results might have been modest, but for me, they're a real win, and we're inspiring entrepreneurship. Actually, one of the I can't say too much about the videos that we received, right? Because I have to be arm's length. But one of the really nice ones that I saw was actually done by a family. So it was this whole kind of family project where the mother and the father and the kids, they came up with an idea, and then you see them all going as a family to the rink to sell their product. And when they talked about value, it was the family time that they had together, and it had a little bit to do with the profit and that sort of thing. But it's I really didn't know what to expect when I got the videos, and I was just really, really thrilled with it. And I think that, our national office is also thrilled with it. And, it was a way that was, on one hand, time intensive, but less asking too much of our volunteers. So. And then the last thing that I just want to say is that we can all inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs. There's lots that we can be doing. There's, you can be making sure that you're supporting small business, going and visiting those local entrepreneurs in your building, taking your kids to see those people, tweeting about small businesses that you see. That's something, again, that I try to do with my entrepreneurs, is share some of their successes that they're doing and that sort of thing. One of my best days ever is when somebody calls me and says, didn't you tweet that you had an entrepreneur that did X, Y, Z? And I'm like, yes, I absolutely did. So again, it's all about small wins, but I think that there's a lot that we can do to inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs, and that's all I got. Thanks.
If anyone would like to ask Christi some questions, please go ahead. Hands up. If you'd like to ask any questions.
Right. Oh, okay. Ernest, of course.
Getting away that easy. So, based on what you've learned from this year, what would you do differently next year? when it comes, for example, because it's a social media breakfast, so like in regards to using social media for this?
One, we definitely have to start earlier. So I think like on the Alberta side, we were in a good place where I think we had given ourselves enough time to really plan on the outreach and how we were going to do it. When it turned national, there was a little bit of, lag time. I definitely think that as a whole, the organization should probably engage an agency to support on this initiative. And this is something even when I'm working with my entrepreneurs, small business, I get a business plan and they say to me, I read the marketing plan and they're like, and I'm going to use social media because it's free. And I think, well, it's not free. You have to do that, so you're either taking up your time or you need to pay somebody to do it. And that's one thing that I knew going into this because I worked in digital media is that we needed help. Like we needed somebody that could help us with that outreach, and so that's hopefully something that's a learning lesson moving forward. Another thing was, and I don't want to say too much about it because they were actually a sponsor of ours, but we did use a new I don't know what it would be called, software program, I guess a platform for the videos. So we used a program called Review Room. Now I had kind of planned all along that we use YouTube. It's a proven thing. And then we had Review Room come on as a sponsor, and we used their program for uploading the videos and that sort of thing. And there was some back-end stuff that they could do for us that YouTube wouldn't do. So there was definitely some benefits to it as well. But we did have some glitches, like there was problems with voting for a couple of days and that sort of thing. So I think that again goes back to timing and just really like testing like the platforms that you're going to use in advance and stuff like that. So a lot of it was planning and having the proper resources in place. Brian?
Hey, Christi.
Hey.
Great presentation.
Thanks.
Are you following what's going on with Shopify?
No.
Shopify is Gary Vaynerchuk and Tim Ferriss, and what they're doing is they've created a platform for people just to go to, and they could actually put their products or their ideas right into their platform. Mm-hmm. Is that something where you folks are looking to go into, to actually maybe create a platform where some people may be able to accelerate their ideas of what we're going forward?
I don't know. Like it's sometimes it's hard for me because I've worked in entrepreneurship for so long that there's like so much that I want to do, and then it has to go back to kind of what our organizational, objectives and that sort of thing is. And I think that that's something that CYBF would definitely support, but I just don't know if we're there yet, and I think it would probably be something that would be a little more collaborative with other partners and that sort of thing. I don't think we're just there yet as far as even people, resources.
One more question here. So, for example, when you're building an outreach for something like this right now, what are some of the parameters that you use in order to like reach out to the right people or connect with them? Like, what are some of the parameters that you do that in order to build up followership? Because you're starting from scratch, right?
Starting from scratch, yeah. So, in Alberta, we actually had a communications agency that was helping us a little bit just on Alberta, so we were able to do a little bit more targeted outreach in Alberta just because we had that added support. But again, I think it's the problem of all nonprofits, right, of not having the resources. So
did you look for specific people, or what was the strategy?
Well, the strategy was for me. The strategy was post-secondary because it always started that it was going to be a post-secondary outreach initiative, and so all along my outreach was kind of post-secondary. And for me, in this year, the general public was secondary. So the outreach was all about finding all the Grant MacEwan University, Medicine Hat College, all of their their social media pages, their Facebook pages and that sort of thing, so that we were connecting with them. Looking for if they had a Twitter account, reaching out to the faculty, reaching out to, so for me in this first year it was all about post-secondary, and next year it'll be general public, and hopefully we'll have an agency to help us with that. Yep.
What kind of of attention did you garner from post-secondary institutions? Like, I mean, this is a fabulous initiative. So other than Mount Royal, did you get other institutions that are wanting to engage more with you or take on part of these programs?
Yeah.
What did that look like?
So we, for sure, I haven't got the actual report, but from watching the videos, I could kind of guess in some way where the students were from. So we definitely had submissions from Mount Royal University. We had submissions from Medicine Hat College, submissions from state, submissions from Grant MacEwan University and U of C that I know of for sure, just because of, for some reason I could tell that they were the students from there. Yeah. And you know, another really cool thing is actually, you know, some of the professors are like, well, are you going to do this again in the second semester? And it's like, no. But the cool thing is now they have the curriculum package, right? So they can be running these Mount Royal, these innovation tournaments as part of their curriculum whenever they want. So I know, you know, for instance, that at Medicine Hat College they're going to do it in the second semester just on their own, and that, you know, that was the goal. You know, before it turned into this national thing, it was really about the teachers, and it was about giving them, you know, some curriculum and stuff that they could work with. So. Yeah, all the post-secondary institutions in Alberta are really important partners of ours, and we do a lot even with ACE, which is Advancing Canadian Entrepreneurship, and their SIFE teams, the Students in Free Enterprise. So yeah, we were really lucky on the post-secondary side. Yeah.
What's some of your plan to growth? Like, where are you going to try and extend to in the next 2-3 years? How does that work, and what strategies do you have now?
Well, overall, not in a communications role, but overall as an organization in Alberta, what I'm trying to do is actually grow the program in rural Alberta. So if I look back at my loan portfolio from years in past, a lot of our entrepreneurs that we were helping has been very Edmonton and Calgary centric. So my goal ever since I started at CYBF was to start growing our programming in rural Alberta. And that, you know, goes back to even me being from PEI and, you know, and not being a PEI because there's no jobs, you know, although I can go home and start a business. But, you know, it's really important to me that people in rural communities know that they can start businesses, that there's opportunities in their communities, and they don't have to move to the city in order to make a living. So rural has been really important to me. And so, you know, in the next year, we've been really lucky in southern Alberta, so we're starting to really establish a presence in Lethbridge and in Medicine Hat, and so now my next target is actually Grand Prairie. So I was up in Grand Prairie last week, really cool town. Their average age in Grand Prairie is 27, and there are just as many people under the age of 6 as there are over 65. Like, really, really, really cool town. So that's my next goal. So then, it starts even traditionally with meetings with the Chamber of Commerce, with Junior Achievement, with the schools, with the universities, with the other organizations that support entrepreneurs, and then again, utilizing social media with that. Because that's the other thing too, where it really helps us, is we can't be everywhere, right? Like, so we have to really rely on our partners, and in one way that we can rely on our partners and also garner that trust between our partners is to help promote them and help promote what they're doing in their communities. So rural outreach is definitely next.
Thank you.
Can you just tell me what that ACE was again?
ACE. ACE is Advancing Canadian Entrepreneurship.
Thank you.
And actually, they were one of the things was with our You Innovate tournament is any teams that made money, all the profit that they made was either they could give it to either ACE, to promote entrepreneurship in post-secondary, or they could give it to Kiva. So there was a kind of a social component to it as well. Yeah.
Now, there seems to be not a lot of crossover between creative types and entrepreneur types. Now, kind of got a foot in each here. So, do you know what kind of resources are available to a creative type says, I want to make art, but I want to make a business out of it instead of taking handle for the rest of my life? Is there a mentor for somebody like that in the creative industries?
Yeah, you come to CYBF and we'll find you one. You know, that's really funny because it's actually it's another target of mine. People have been talking to me about that, about, you know, students that come out of ACAD and that sort of thing, and they're like, okay, well, I'm good at this, but I don't know how to like turn it into a business, or they have a hard time. Entrepreneurs in general, sometimes when they go out on their own, they have, especially like consultants and that sort of thing, they have a hard time really deciding what their worth is and how much they should charge, right? The Royal Bank is actually doing an event on November 12th that's all about creative entrepreneurs. But it's definitely, I don't know of any like programs that are specifically for creative entrepreneurs. It's actually on my list to kind of connect with ACAD and see if there's a way that we can work with them, because I definitely think there's an opportunity there. Like, that's what I really like about entrepreneurship, and when I, you know, I'm doing different programming, is it's so applicable to different things, so you can help artists. You know, another event that I did actually last week was I was up in Bonnyville, and I did an event with Awesome Corp, and they are a junior oil sands company up in Cold Lake in Bonnyville, and we did an event for Aboriginal women entrepreneurs, because they realize, you know, that eventually they're going to need businesses that are going to need to sustain their company, and that there's a lot of, you know, women up there that could be starting businesses. And that's the thing too, is that sometimes people don't even know that they have something inside them that could be a business, and so that's something that we work on as well. I also saw a really neat program not too long ago coming out of Philadelphia, and I was thinking, how can we do this? Because it was a program teaching people, battered women in relationships, about how to write a business plan and how to start a business, because, you know, doing that, then it gives them the opportunity to be able to kind of extricate themselves from that relationship and sort of thing. So there's a lot of work that can be done on entrepreneurship to support all kinds of people. Any other questions? Okay.
No more questions? So again, a big round of applause. So I just want to do a quick shout out for some events going on in the room. Alberta Buzz is doing an independent filmmakers conference on November 18th.
19th and 20th. Yeah.
19th and 20th. If anybody's in the filmmaking community, contact Stacy here. Did you have something?
We have an event.
What's your event?
I'm Renee with Ray's Marketing, and we're having a charity bake sale. So if you guys want to eat some delicious baked goods, come to our office. I've been tweeting and everything. Kelsey's here, I'm here. It's all on our website. Come and support the Alberta Children's Hospital.
Mike Bowerman's from Innovation Exchange. They have some great meetups every month. Tori McLean, the Accelerator YYC is just down the street. If anybody wants, I don't know if it's okay to invite people there, but so yeah, go see it. It's a great venue, and they're doing some cool things for the entrepreneur community in Calgary here. Doug Lacombe, third Tuesdays. I haven't made it out yet, but they're always fantastic events. Yes. Who else? Social Good Accelerator. Gina from Social Good Accelerator trying to do an accelerator for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs.
And December 7th, 14 groups are getting together and having a combined Christmas, sort of to replace the December event. 14 groups, December 7th, Melrose in the evening. Hold the date, we'll have details soon.
That's Hollapalooza. Hollapalooza. Kevin?
What was the non-profit accelerator, sorry? I didn't catch that.
I'm over here.
Gina, talk to Gina.
Accelerator. It's myself, Mike Bowerman, there's a whole bunch of us. John is on the committee. The Global Business Center, that's where we're located, and it's a forward exploration ideation space, and we just are putting things together. So if you're interested, come see me. You can talk to Mike, talk to John. Go to socialgoodaccelerator.com.
Anyone else? Anyone got an event they want to go?
On December 1st at Endeavor Art Space, we're doing Portraits for Change. So you come, you get a portrait done in exchange for donations, and the donations go to Light Up the World. And there's Light Up the World photo spaces involved in Endeavor Arts. December 1st, 5 o'clock.
Okay, right.
And submissions are always 10th of the month, most in Calgary. Come on in. Lots of people, great ideas in this room. Please submit.
If you've mentioned event today you're about to, make sure either send a DM to the Social Media Breakfast YYC or mention it or something, and we'll help promote it.
Yeah, if you do that, if you contact me or Donna, we're trying to promote events, so please contact us. I sent out a couple tweets asking people to send me their events, but I only had a couple submissions so far. But if you do it, we'll tweet it out anyways and get it up there. Anything else? So thanks again to Suitcase. Awesome. 1008. This is a beautiful venue, and it's all going to a good cause, so please support this venue if you can in the future. And thank you, everyone. Network and enjoy the rest of the food and coffee. And Christi. Good morning and welcome to the 23rd Social Media Breakfast. How many people are here for the first time today? We got a lot of newcomers. Wow. Great. So, Social Media Breakfast was started in the States a few years back, and now it's in about, I think, 6 dozen countries now around the world. We'll talk about the organizers later on, but basically it's a chance for experts and newbies to kind of get together and discuss social media. I always say they're always kind of making it up as we go. So this is a good chance to get together and share best practices and knowledge and things. Today's sponsor is Suitcase Interactive. So I'll get Ryan to come up here and talk a little bit. From, here, I'll get Mike to speak here. Okay, cool.
Thank you. First of all, thanks for having me. Sadly and embarrassingly, this is my first time. So, yes, and I will be coming. Boo is in order. Actually, it's now not Suitcase Interactive, it's actually just Suitcase. As of 26 days ago, we became one of Canada's largest independent agencies and merged with the agency called Watermark, who's a long-standing traditional agency. And people in this room might say, why the hell would you do that? And that's a coffee conversation, but I truly believe that for social and mobile, which is our agency's core competency, needs to be mixed with traditional mix to be successful. I was talking to somebody here about the Old Spice campaign that everyone holds up as the social media holy grail from a few years ago. I agree with that, but it was part of a large campaign and weaved in as a large campaign that with social media at the core. So just quickly, at the core, Suitcase is a social mobile agency designed for the needs of big brands. We're working with clients, national clients like Marks, Sport Check, Atmosphere, EA Sports, Puma, and most recently Michaels, as they move into Canada more. Marketers, I believe, have long enjoyed control of their brands, as you all know, and in the digital universe, but social has shifted to consumers. It's one of the most complicated channels for brands to manage, and so we, because it does touch everything from communications to marketing, PR, customer service, analytics, the entire crisis management, whatever in business, it touches that. So we believe at Suitcase that social deserves a seat at the marketing table and should be one of the leaders. And so, first of all, and I guess lastly, I would say is thanks for having us. We believe in this. We believe in the community. It's amazing to see this, and we look forward to being a supporter in the future. Thanks.
Awesome.
So a big round of applause. It's great we have sponsors like Venue 1308 and Suitcase this month to provide the great venue and the great food. Without them, we can't do these things for free. So another big round of applause for our sponsors. Oh, your logo's not showing up there. Sorry, it was on there. Lindsay, are you going to speak, or did you want to say something? Sorry, as you have a mouthful. You did have a logo on there, honestly. I took a logo out there for some reason. It didn't show up. Their venue 1008 YYC on Twitter.